Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. Welcome to our family study circle. Alhamdulillah, yet again, we are gathered today on a Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. Alhamdulillah, we're going to be carrying on as normal, as we normally do. Alfonso is already here. Assalamu alaikum, Alfonso. How are you, brother? I hope you're well. Muhammad Chowdhury is here too. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad Chowdhury. Welcome. Welcome to you both. You're the first two to have arrived. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you. Brothers and sisters, we're doing our family circle as we have been doing for the last 2 Sundays. Inshallah, this is our third session. And inshallah, we're going to be continuing with our circle with all those who wish to join and learn, inshallah. Learn together. Remember, that's the concept. The motto for all of us is to learn together. Share together the very essence of our faith, the teachings, inshallah, and we will learn and we will share the good teachings of our faith, inshallah. I'm looking for my glasses and I don't know what I've done to it, but I hope I have not dropped it anywhere. Anyway, lovely Nasreen says, wa alaikum assalam. Bro, what? Mama Chowdhury, I don't know what. Why are you noticing silly things? Pure Peace says, salam everybody. Fatima Mangera says, salam alaikum, dearest brothers and sisters from Virginia. Welcome, my dear sister Fatima Mangera. Welcome to Pure Peace. Welcome to every single person who has come to this room. We are, inshallah, going to study today together. Last week, when I began, we were talking about Tawheed. The second part of our conversation last week was about Tawheed. Today, we're going to be talking about Risala, something to do with the prophets. Inshallah, we will. But we also talked about the masjid, the opening of the masjid last week. I hope you're very clear. I hope you know the date. On the 20th of this month, Wightman Road Mosque will open. And they will open to those who will book before, only for Dhuhr prayer to begin. And slowly, they will progress. When you do go to that masjid, what you need is a mask. You need hand sanitizer. You need your own musalla. And you need a bag to carry your shoes. And of course, the mosque would be also obliged to provide protection for the staff, social distancing so that the space would be divided properly, and more importantly, and most importantly, sanitizers for you to be able to keep yourself clean, your hands clean. The toilets will not be open and wudu areas will not be open, so you should have made wudu before. That's just a reminder for those of you who are thinking about joining us in the masjid. Jamal Ahmed says, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Muazzam Hussein Kaisar says, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam, my brothers and sisters, all of you. Welcome to our family study circle. I hope your families are sitting around. If you're watching on your screen, on your laptop, on your computer, on your TV screen, I hope you're going to be sitting together and learning. Today, we're going to be talking about Risala, prophets in general. So as a believer, we believe in Allah. Of course we do. But we also believe in the prophets. But before we go to prophets, there's a particular verse of the Quran that I want to share with you. But Allah Azza wa Jal teaches us how we can learn the concept of Risala. Very important. And I'm going to get that verse for you straight away. If you just bear with me for 1 minute, let me get that verse out. And inshallah, I will be able to share that with you straight away. Bismillah. Let's have a look. That verse is, it's آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. This verse. آمن الرسول. It's in Surah Al-Baqarah, and I'm going to get the reference for you. So if I can share this particular screen with you, let me see if I know how to do this. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. Share the screen. Share this page with you. Bismillah. Where is this verse of the Quran? This is the page. I want you to read this verse of the Quran if you don't mind. Stop sharing. I'm going to try and share the screen. Just bear with me for a second. Share the screen, but I need to share you the application, which is the surah itself. Why can I not find the surah? Subhanallah, I don't know why it's not sharing. But this verse of the Quran is آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. It says كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. I want you to remember this particular verse of the Quran. Why do you need to remember this particular verse of the Quran? It's because when you do, you will understand the topic that we're talking about today. Let me put the verse on its own. Look at this verse, my brothers and sisters. Look at the entire verse if you don't mind. I put it up on the page and you can see. Allah says, آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. The apostles and the believers with him believe in what has been bestowed upon him from on high by Allah Azza wa Jal, the sustainer. They all believe in Allah and the angels. They believe in the revelation. They believe in the apostles. They make no distinction between any of his prophets. And they say, we have heard and we pay heed unto Allah, who inshallah will forgive us, grant us forgiveness. They make dua, O sustainer, for you are the only that we return to. My brothers and sisters, this is very important dua that you should learn. But the concept we're learning today here is called risala, prophets. Allah does not talk to any human being directly. He doesn't. However, Allah Azza wa Jal talks to us through prophets. And even the prophets don't get a conversation with Allah in direct manner. Allah sends an angel. And in this case, Jibreel. Allah sent Jibreel to all the prophets throughout time with revelation, either in the form of a book or inspiration and instructions. Believing in all the prophet is an essential part of our faith. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. We believe in everything that came before, all the prophets. So if you don't believe in Adam alayhi salatu salam and his wife Hawa, if you don't believe in Nuh, Hud, Lut and Ibrahim, Saleh, all the prophets that we know and we don't know, you cannot be a Muslim. Part of our belief is that we believe in all the prophets that came before. Yes, you can tell your Christian friends, we believe in Jesus too. Believe in Isa alayhi salatu salam also forms an essential part of our faith. Believe in Musa. You can say to our Jewish friends that we believe in Moses. We believe in David, Solomon, Sulaiman, Dawood, Ibrahim, Ayub, Yunus, and all the other prophets that we find in the Quran, the 25 mentioned, and the ones that we don't know of. We believe in them all. So understanding that the prophets Allah has sent, they have been sent for a reason. And we must believe in them all. Is an essential part of our belief. We believe in the prophets who came in the past, and we believe in the books that they brought with them. What did the prophets come to do, my brothers and sisters? What was their job? What's the main job of a prophet? I know some of you are very attentively listening. I want to ask you this question. What has been the job of a prophet? What did Allah send the prophets to do? In the Quran, we again find a verse of the Quran that reminds us the exact nature of prophet and their job. It's described in the verses that I'm going to quote to you now, inshallah. If you can see this verse, let me see if you can. Let's stop sharing the previous one and share a new verse, inshallah. Share a screen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And let's share this one. Let's see if this is the right one. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, the verse that I'm sharing with you here is this. Allah Azza wa Jal talks about why He has sent prophets. He talks about why we have to believe in prophets and what was their mission. Their mission was specific. What was their mission? Let me see if you know. Who knows the missions of the prophets? Tell me if you know the missions of the prophets. It's important, my brothers and sisters, we know that the prophets were sent with a clear mission. Their mission was to share and give the humanity good news. Good news of the hereafter, good news of accountability, good news that we'll all face Allah on the day of judgment, good news that Allah Azza wa Jal has created a path for you. Good news, for example, all of the prophets came with a message, and that message is from Allah, to convey a message. So that's the prophet's role, to give a message. All the prophets who came in the past, they were human beings, including our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All prophets were human beings. If you believe that prophets were not human beings, then you've misunderstood the concept of prophethood. Allah said that in the Quran. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad is nothing but a prophet. He is nothing but a prophet, but a messenger. In other words, he is also a human. Prophets were human. So accepting that they were human and they were chosen by Allah. Prophets usually came from their own people. In the area where they were born, usually this is the area where they taught. This is the area where they preached. This is the area where they considered people around them as their people. Prophets were local people. So let's talk about prophets of the past. Noah, if you would look at the earliest prophets, he was one of the locals. People knew him from his parents. They knew him from his wife and children. He had a family. He was established. He went and knocked on the doors of his neighbors. Prophet Saleh, he was a local person. Prophet Lut, Prophet Hud, Prophet Saleh, he was a person. Prophet Lut was a person of the same people. Ibrahim was a person of his own people. He was born in that society. He invited people to the path of Allah. He was known in his people. So all prophets, whenever they came, wherever they came from, the foremost identity of those prophets is that they're human beings. Some people erroneously believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually is a superhuman being. He's more than a human being. He had some specific qualities that give him supernatural abilities. Or supernatural or not, Allah had given Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam some specific attributes. They were also human, but they were specific to the Prophet. But that does not make him superhuman. He was a prophet. He lived amongst his people. He was born from a mother and a father. Prophet ﷺ was looked after by his mother for a few years, by his milk mother for a couple of years, and when she died, when his own mother died, by Amina's assistant, Baraka Ayman. Prophet ﷺ was looked after by his grandfather, by his uncle, grandfather Abdul Muttalib and uncle Abu Talib. Allah indicates by showing the journey of his prophets as human. Allah makes the prophets experience human experiences so that they can relate to the local people and not be alien. So Prophet ﷺ was an orphan, lost his father before even he was born, lost his mother when he was 6, and lost his uncle, his beloved grandfather very early, then his uncle. He lost them. He was an orphan. He understood the pain of loss. He understood the pain of being an orphan. He understood the pain of being brought up without a mother and a father in your life. He understood. So therefore, Prophet ﷺ was a human, experiencing human experiences so that he could do his human job as a prophet. All the prophets were like that. So we have to believe in prophets as messengers of Allah, prophets of Allah. They either delivered a book on behalf of Allah in the form of books, as we know. So for example, Prophet Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam had Zabur, Psalms, as we know. Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam had Tawrat, the Old Testament. Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam had Injil, the Bible, the New Testament. And of course, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam had the Quran. If somebody believes that I'm going to believe in the Quran and not believe in the Old Testament or the Tawrat and Injil and Zabur, you can't be Muslim. We have to believe that prophets came with those books too. Yes, the books that they have today in the form of Old and the New Testament, Psalms doesn't exist, but what we have today in the form of Old and New Testament, we believe that originally it came from Allah, but it was corrupted by human intervention. What remains, we don't know which of it is Allah's words and which of it is humans. So we cannot say the entirety of it is words of Allah, but we cannot reject it. We have to accept that it came to the prophets and we believe in what Allah revealed to them. We don't believe in the corrupted version of what remains today. And of course, as a Muslim, you have to believe in the book that Rasulullah came, the Quran itself, the word of Allah in its entirety, complete and uncorrupted version, undiluted version, unadulterated version called the Quran. No faults or doubts can ever be found in the Quran. You have to believe in that. But we have to believe that came through our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did not write it. He did not concoct it. He received it from Jibreel. Allah did not speak to him directly. Rasulullah did not see Allah ever. We have to believe that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like all the other prophets, were ordinary human being, chosen to become extraordinary by the role Allah had given them, which is that they would become messengers or prophets. There are two types of prophets. One, those who are prophets, we call them Nabi, prophets. And there is the other, those who are known as messengers or Rasul. Messengers or Rasul. Nabi is the one who receives from Allah inspirations and instructions without a book, without a revealed book. However, Rasul or a messenger is the one who received a book specifically. So we know 4 Rasul that we find mentioned in the Quran. Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam, he was a prophet. According to most scholars, he was a prophet. He received smaller instructions, but not as a book. Nuh alayhi salatu salam was a Nabi, not a Rasul. Ayyub alayhi salatu salam was a Nabi, not a Rasul. Sulaiman alayhi salatu salam was a Nabi, not a Rasul. Nabi is a prophet, and Rasul is a messenger. Messengers are very clear. Dawood was a messenger. Musa was a messenger. Isa was a messenger. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a messenger. So do you understand the difference? We have to believe in all the prophets who came, that they were human and they received revelation from Allah or instructions from Allah, either in the form of a book or instructions without a book. So that's most important part of the concept of Risala. The second important part of Risala is that we have to understand that for us to understand Allah, for us to discover Allah, for us to discover a way of life, we need the prophets. Because Allah did not speak to us directly. Allah does not speak to us directly in the form of sending revelation. Collectively, He speaks to us through a messenger. So they had a specific role to play, and that is to deliver a message on behalf of Allah. They're like the postmen. Of course, more respectable, but very important. They were like a postman. They brought with them messages and they delivered that message to us, the rest of us, the humanity. There are questions that are already being raised by people. Fatima Mangara says, did Allah speak directly to Prophet Musa at Mount Tur? Yes, Allah did speak to Prophet Musa at Mount Tur when he said, Ya Allah, I want to see you. And of course, Allah told him that no eyes can see him, but usually prophets receive revelation. Musa received revelation not because Allah spoke to him directly, but Musa received revelation through Jibreel alayhi salatu salam, the angel. So Sister Fatima Mangera, Yes, Musa alayhi salam, Allah spoke to him directly, but Musa alayhi salam received revelation too, a book called Tawrat, and that came from Jibreel alayhi salam, one of the angel who's responsible for it. Lots of people are messaging all sorts of things, mashallah. Please keep on your questions and I will be very happy to answer them as we progress. So have we understood the concept of prophet so far? Some people say, okay, what about extraordinary powers of the prophet? What do we do with that? Yes, prophets were given extraordinary powers called mu'jiza, miracles. Prophets could perform miracles. So give me an example. Let's give you an example. What was let me see if somebody can answer this. What was the miracle of Prophet Isa alayhi salam? Who can answer that question for me? MashaAllah, very nicely explained about meaning of prophet. Thank you, Brother Aziz. Who can give me an answer to the question, what was the miracle, special miracle of Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Jesus? What was his miracle? Can somebody tell me what miracle Isa had? I would love to hear from you. I'm waiting for somebody to write on the side the special miracle of Isa alayhi salam. How about special miracle of Musa alayhi salam? What miracles did Prophet Musa perform? I'm going to ask you these questions and see if you can answer it. What miracle did Ibrahim alayhi salam perform? What miracles did Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam perform? Lovely Nasreen says he can live life to, he can what? Live life to death. You mean he could raise those who are dead and give them life? That's what you mean, I think. Lovely Nasreen. Fatima Mangara says, born without a father, correct. Healer from, what? Hasna? He was a healer, yes. He could heal people from leprosy and blindness. Aziz says, he can give life to the death, yes. Isa alayhi salam gave life to clay birds and was able to heal the sick, correct. Andrea Riley says, I've just noticed this, missed the daily video during Ramadan. Brothers and sisters, well, come and join us. We're going to be here once every Sunday, inshallah, every Sunday from 7 o'clock. Isa alayhi salam's miracle was that he could bring to life that which was dead. But do you think he had that power for himself? No. He had the power by the permission of Allah. He could do this by the permission of Allah. That's all he could do. So if he went to a dead person, he would say, rise. He would say, qum bi'ithnillah. In the name of Allah, rise. He would say that. If he was able to bring somebody's eyesight back, he would do it by the power of Allah. He would not do it by himself. Aziz Ahmed says, Musa made stick turn to snake. Musa didn't. Allah gave Musa a stick, which he gave power so it could become a serpent. Yes, true, a snake. Lovely Nasreen says, Musa had magical powers. No, Musa didn't have any magical powers. Musa was not a magician. None of the prophets were ever magician. Magician is illusion. Magicians perform illusion. They cheat your eyes. But mu'jiza, which is a miracle, it is not cheating your eye. It is the truth of what is happening. Extraordinary changes are happening in front of you. It's called miracle. Musa performed many miracles by the decree of Allah. When he threw the stick and it became a serpent and ate the magic of all the magicians. You know the story when Pharaoh said to Musa, okay, Musa, you claim to be a prophet of God. If you're truly a prophet of God, why don't you perform some miracles so that we can show the world who is stronger? I will bring my magicians and you'll bring your magic and we'll do it together. Musa alayhi salam agreed, and they organized a massive gathering of all magicians and people of Egypt. They all gathered in the town square. All the Egyptian magicians came. Musa alayhi salam came, and the magicians started performing their magic, and they started throwing their spell. And Musa alayhi salam got scared. Allah said to Musa, oh Musa, don't be afraid. Just throw what you have on your hand. Throw the stick on your hand. And he did. When he threw it on the floor, it swallowed up all the power of the magicians collectively in one go. All the magicians, while standing and performing this magic, they saw what right in front of them happened, the truth of what happened. Instead of arguing with Musa, they fell on their foreheads on the ground in sijda, saying, "Oh Musa, for what we have seen with our eyes is true. We believe in you, Lord. We believe in you as the prophet." Pharaoh was very, very upset. He said to Musa, "How dare you ever do that? How dare you uh, leave my way and accept Musa's way?" And the magicians turned around and said, "What we have seen with our own eyes, we performed magic with our hands. But what Musa did wasn't magic. That is the truth. Ours is an illusion. And the truth swallowed away all our illusion. We cannot but turn to Allah, the Lord of the world, the Lord of Musa. He's inviting us to it and we'll accept it." It's called magic. No, it's called mu'jiza. Magic is illusion. Mu'jiza is miracle. Okay, so the question that I have, Musa alayhi had glowing hands, correct? He did not perform miracles. Please say perform miracles, correct? Not magic, correct? Thank you, Khalid M. Malik. AJ Ali says, "I love your speeches. You're always on point, beautiful and succinctly explained. Thank you." Lovely Nasreen says, "Sorry, I mean some mu'jiza." Correct. Fatima Mangara says, "Musa alayhi was able to separate the Red Sea." No, Musa wasn't. Musa performed in the name of Allah. Allah said to Musa, "Oh Musa, now you're stuck in front of the Red Sea with people who you have freed from the tyranny of Pharaoh, and you've got Pharaoh and his army chasing you from behind. In front of you is the sea. Where do you go?" It's called tawakkul. When they made that tawakkul on Allah, when they had come out and stood in front of the Red Sea, Musa alayhi said to, "Ya Allah, now you do whatever you want." Allah said to Musa, "Strike the sea with your stick," and the sea parted. That is a mu'jiza that happens extraordinarily because Allah changes the nature of things around to perform a miracle that no human, no power could ever perform. What was the miracle of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam? The fact that he didn't perform a miracle. He was thrown in the fire. And Allah changed the nature of fire from burning to becoming cool and gentle on his skin. Okay, what was the miracle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Can somebody tell me? What do you think is the miracle of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Anyone knows the miracle of the Prophet? Lots of people say lots of silly things about the miracle. I want you to tell me the truth of a miracle. What is the miracle of the Prophet? Fatima Mangara says miracles can only happen if Allah wills. Thank you, Fatima. Correct. What is the miracle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I want you to tell me. All the prophets performed many types of miracles. All the messengers performed types of miracles. What did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam perform? What was his miracle? Aziz Ahmed says Quran. Thank you, Aziz. For a change, you got that right. Absolutely spot on. The biggest miracle of all miracles of all times ever in the human history is the Quran. It is the truth beyond all truth. It is absolutely the biggest miracle. The language of the Quran is a miracle. The content of the Quran is a miracle. The inspiration in the Quran is a miracle. The way it heals our hearts is a miracle. The linguistic format in which it is written and put together by Allah's own words is a miracle. No human beings can compose a second book like the Quran. They have not been able to do for the last 1500 years. The preservation of the Quran until the Day of Judgment is a miracle. The fact that millions of people can memorize the Quran easily and keep it in their memory is a miracle. Quran contains continuous guidance that always remains contemporary is a miracle. You want to know more miracles of the Quran? The Quran contains scientific truth, is in itself a miracle that human beings never knew before, and yet Prophet ﷺ was able to utter them because it was not his words. These are the words of Allah. Fatima Mangara says he went to the heavens. Yes, one of the miracles that he went to the heavens, Mi'raj. He went from his house in Mecca all the way to Masjid al-Aqsa, and from there he went to the seventh of the heavens and returned in the same night. That is a mu'jiza of Rasul by the decree of Allah. But the biggest miracle of all miracles is the Quran. Aziz, I know you're very pleased that you got that right for a change, and I praised you. By the way, Aziz, I'm still holding on to your book, by the way, from Ramadan. I told you, your book is still waiting. I don't know when you're going to come and see me. Aziz, when are you going to come and see me to collect your book? And when am I going to get my fountain pen? I don't know what's happening to Aziz. Aziz has been promising me a fountain pen for the month of Ramadan. Ramadan went, June went, July is nearly going. I don't know where my pen is. But Aziz, your book is waiting. Alhamdulillah. Anytime you want, you can come and take your book, inshallah. So we believe in all the prophets who came before. The duties of the prophet is to bring the guidance from Allah to people, to teach them, to impart to people wisdom. Somebody has just written, Assalamu alaikum, Imam. Can you please do a talk about the rise that will be what? The RSC. Okay, another time, inshallah, not today, inshallah. And I will have a fountain pen for you. Thank you, Aziz. Hopefully, in our lifetime, whenever you come and pick up your book, where is our book? Lovely Nasreen, the book called Marriage. You can always order it from the internet on Barefoot Institute's website. It's called barefootinstitute.com. It's a special gift for Aziz because Aziz has been such an amazing character throughout the month of Ramadan, taken so much battering from me. He's been so kind still. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless him. Yeah, actually, all are. Tahira Mangara says, I'm watching, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Tahira. Thank you for that. Anyway, so we believe in all the prophets. Prophet's duty is not to give people doom and gloom. Is not to tell people that they're going to go to hell and that's it. No. Prophet's duty is to guide people, actually to remind people of their intrinsic guidance of Allah, reminding people. All the prophets, Prophet Nuh were running behind people day and night, knocking on their doors. They're putting their fingers in their ears saying, we don't want to hear you, shutting their doors on his face. He continued for 900 years, according to historians, where he went to people and invited his people to come to Islam, but they didn't. Prophet Ibrahim tried with his father, he failed. Prophet Sulaiman, Prophet Dawood, prophets upon prophets came. All of them tried to invite people around them. Their duty is to invite and remind people. Prophet of Allah ﷺ did the same thing. He tried to invite his own people. The first person he invited to Islam was who? His own wife, Khadija radiallahu anha, and she believed. The first young person to become Muslim. Who was the first young person to become Muslim? Let me see if you can remind yourself the stories of the life of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. Give me the names of the first person who became Muslim, a female. Give me the first young person who became Muslim. Give me the first older person who became Muslim. Give me the first person who was in captivity and became one of the first believers. I want those names if somebody can give me. First Muslim woman believer. Fatima Mangera, yes, you wrote Ali, but what was Ali? What was the category where he became? You've associated his conversion. Khadija, yes, Khadija was a woman, I've already said. Ali ibn Abi Talib was the young person, correct? The youngest person to embrace Islam. First ever young person, Ali. Who was the first older person to become a Muslim? Asiya? No, Aziz, that unfortunately now you've got that wrong. Asiya is not correct. Khadija is correct. Youngest is, yes, Ali. But who was the older person to become Muslim? Anybody knows? What's the name of the older person who became Muslim at the hand of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when he invited them to accept Islam? Who was he? Somebody Prophet was very close to. It was his friend, companion. In fact, they went to business together, expeditions together. What was his name? Can anyone name the first amongst the elders? We know the first amongst the ladies. Lovely Nasreen, you've beaten everybody to it. Alhamdulillah. Abu Bakr, correct. So first amongst the ladies was Khadija. First amongst youngest was Ali ibn Abi Talib. First amongst the older ones was Abu Bakr. Ali Shah said, Umar al-Khattab, no, Ali, I'm really sorry, you're wrong. Abu Bakr was the first amongst the older ones. Who was the first amongst those who were captive? Who was first amongst those who were captive to have become Muslim? I want you to tell me. Abu Bakr, yes, of course, we've answered that question. Anyway, Rasul's duty was to invite people to the path of Allah. So Prophet's duty, all Prophet's duty was to invite people to the path of Allah, remind them, give them the message of Allah that came to them from the heavens, give them hope, give them wisdom, solve their problems, bring love and mercy between themselves, try and change the character of people to make them better, all of those things. Alhamdulillah. The Nazaleen Muhammad says his uncle. No, his uncle Abu Talib, if you mean, he never became Muslim. Hamza became Muslim later. Amongst the captive, the first ones to become a believer, it wasn't Bilal. It wasn't Bilal. Abu Talib never became Muslim. My brother or sister, I can't really see. Nazaleen Muhammad. Bilal wasn't the first of the captives. No. Zayd was, if you haven't yet caught on to it. Zayd bin Haritha was the first of the captives to become Muslim, inshallah. Okay, so Prophet's duty was to help people to see the truth instead of leading a life of delusion, illusion, in some cases lie. Now, some people say Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a magician. He was not a magician. No prophets were magicians. Some people say Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and other prophets were soothsayers. They were not soothsayers. Some people say Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was made out of light. No. Human beings are made out of clay. Angels are made out of light. So if you say Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was made out of light, you're wrong. Prophet ﷺ was a human. Yes, Allah gave him the light of the heavens and the earth, like we all have. His duty was to bring that light to humanity and help them to see the truth. Yes, but he was not made of light. Prophet ﷺ was not made of light. It's an error to attribute superhuman qualities, superhuman attributes to any of the prophets. Sayyidina Ibrahim ﷺ did not burn in the fire that was put together to punish him, not because Ibrahim was a superhuman, no, because Allah says that in the Quran. He says, قُلْ يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. He ordered the fire. He told the fire, "O fire, be gentle and cool upon Ibrahim's skin today. Don't burn him." It is Allah who protected Ibrahim. It wasn't because Ibrahim was a superhuman, that's why he didn't burn. No, that would be completely wrong. Isa ﷺ was born in Maryam's womb without a father. Of course, she was never married. She had never met a man before, never had a relationship before, except with Zakaria, her uncle. But that wasn't a relationship. Zakaria was a very old man, over the age of 80, unable to conceive, unable to have a baby, even if he wanted to. In fact, the story is, after Maryam had given birth, Zakaria felt inspired and he made dua. Ya Allah, I want to also have a baby. Please, can you make it possible? And Allah performed another miracle for us, humanity, to learn. Zakaria was told, go to your wife and after remain silent for 3 days and don't speak to anybody. And lo and behold, his wife became pregnant. Maryam gave birth to a child because Allah wanted it like that, not because Maryam performed a miracle, not because Maryam was a superhuman. No, Maryam was an ordinary girl, born in an ordinary family, a human being, flesh and blood like you and me. Isa ﷺ, just because he was born without a father, that doesn't make him a superhuman being. Isa ﷺ was an ordinary human being. He was a prophet of Allah, yes, born out of miracles. Yes, he could perform mu'jiza, miracles in the name of Allah, but he was not a superhuman being. He was an ordinary human being. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was the same, an ordinary human being, not made out of light, made of clay. All of our original composition, clay. Born from a normal mother and a normal father, Amina and Abdullah. Born in the same way. Mother had to deliver, go through the pain. Prophet had to be weaned, given milk, fed. The Prophet went to sleep. He went to the loo. He had a wife. He had children. Aziz Ahmed says, brother, a side question: if anyone of age age of marriage wants to run away to get married against parents' wishes, and they want help to witness the nikah, should we agree or refuse? Aziz raised this question towards the end of our program. I'm still explaining my topic. I want to stick to the topic as much as I can, if you don't mind. Just listen to it very carefully. So all the prophets were human beings. Never ever believes any mumbo jumbo, anyone who tells you that prophets were superhuman, they were made out of light. Prophet Muhammad was made out of light. There are people who believe that Allah created Prophet first before he created everything else. Nonsense, complete nonsense. Allah created all the ruh, all the souls together, Adam till the day of judgment. Any ruh that would be given were created by Allah at once. So Prophet ﷺ's ruh wasn't created before. Some people erroneously and out of foolishness say, if it wasn't for Muhammad, the whole universe would not be created. That's nonsense again. What a load of nonsense. Prophet ﷺ is not the cause of all causes. No, Allah is the cause of He is the cause of the uncaused. He is the beginning. Muhammad ﷺ does not compete with Allah. He does not compare with Allah. He does not come anywhere near the majesty of Allah. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we love him, we cherish him, we follow him, but because Allah told us, not because of anything else. So prophets, all prophets were human. And we don't believe in any mumbo jumbo that we hear from people about prophets. You should not believe in any mumbo jumbo if people put them to you. That Prophet Muhammad was, he was made out of fire, made out of nur, light. Again, crazy. Some people believe Prophet Muhammad ﷺ arrives when you do a gathering, when you do Milad and Nabi. Apparently, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, his ruh arrives. Again, a complete, utter jahala, ignorance, absolute nonsense. Prophet ﷺ's ruh doesn't come anywhere. Allah has stationed his ruh in a lofty place where his beloved Prophet belongs. Why would he come to our gatherings? Why? We don't worship Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Remember that. And finally, all of you who know this, Prophet Muhammad died ﷺ. All prophets die. Yes, Isa ﷺ did not die, but Allah paused his life. He paused his life. He will come to complete his life to die naturally. All human beings have been born to die. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul has been created to die. We should all taste death. That's what the Quran says. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall taste death. So, very important. Prophet Muhammad died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Ibrahim died. Prophet Yunus died. Prophet Hud died. Salih died. Dawood died. Sulaiman died. Musa died. Ibrahim alayhi salam, alayhimus salam, all of them died, including Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Somebody has asked a side question: why are women not prophets or Rasul? Somebody who is Zahra, 3 years old. It's a good question. How did you know that women were not prophets? There is nothing in the Quran that says they were not prophets. Just because their name is not mentioned, it doesn't necessarily mean there were no women prophets. You can't say that. Prophets' role was so public out there and so demanding. Perhaps Allah saved our sisters from risking their lives and their limbs, because it's going to be 24/7 public role. There is no running away from it. There is no holiday from it. Allah has saved our sisters from that role. Vulnerability, exposure, the threats. Just look at the Prophet. He had to flee his home, not once, several times. He left Mecca looking for a shelter in Taif. He sent his companions to Abyssinia, Ethiopia, because his life was in danger. He had to leave his home in Mecca and come to Medina at the depth of darkness and hide in a cave. I'm not saying a woman is not capable of doing that. I'm not saying that they are. But it is such a risk. So perhaps Allah has saved our sisters from it. It's important to understand it is not a competition between man and woman. It is a responsibility Allah has given. So if Allah hasn't given it, Allah hasn't given it. What's the big deal? Aziz Ahmed says, Fatima Mangera says, my daughter asked that question previously to me. Yes, I've answered that to you as well. Fatima Mangera says, Aziz Ahmed, she wouldn't accept my answer. Has to hear it from the expert, mashallah. Thank you. May Allah bless your daughter, Zahra. Zahra, may you be blessed. We say Ameen. So think about it. Think about the role of the Prophet. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had to be at the forefront of the battlefield, leading his companions in a pretty tough environment. I'm not saying a lady is not capable of doing that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Allah has saved our sisters from putting themselves at such risk. Most men won't be able to cope with it either. So I think Allah has given us different roles. Can you imagine men being the mother? I can't. I couldn't be a mother. Because men are incapable of being a mother. Can I make a complaint saying, why didn't Allah make a man a mother? It's just biologically not possible. That's not how Allah has designed us. If Allah has designed us in this way, we accept it. Alhamdulillah. We accept it. It's not a competition. Don't make it a competition. Ali says, my 5-year-old said, she never knew a woman could have been a female in the entire life, in her entire life. I don't understand that. But either way, thank you for enlightening her. May Allah bless her. May Allah make it good for all of us. So for you to be close to Allah, you don't have to be a male or a female. You just have to be yourself. Whatever you are, male or a female, the door to becoming close to Allah is always open. So Prophet died, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam died. And part of Risala, part of believing in prophethood, you can't be a Muslim without believing all the prophets. Remember that. You can't be a Muslim without believing in all the prophets. So part of our belief in the Prophet is that Prophet died. And all prophets died. Allah says that in the Quran. If Prophet was to die, if he was being killed, are you just going to abandon your faith? The possibility of your Prophet getting killed, dying is there. When Rasulullah passed away, Ruman Ahmed says, Assalamu alaikum from Paris. Wa alaikum assalam, Ruman, welcome. When Rasulullah passed away, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and all the other companions were sitting together deciding what to do. Umar ibn Khattab walks in, very emotional, very angry, with his sword open. And he said, if anybody says Muhammad is dead, I'm going to kill him. The companions were terrified of Umar because he was a strong, tough guy. He was a very tough man. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was the senior most and the wisest among the companions. He gets up in the Mosque of the Prophet and he says, for those of you who have been worshipping Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. For those of you who have been worshipping Allah, my Allah never dies. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. My Allah never dies. We don't worship Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We follow him. Abduhu Chaudhry says, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Abduhu, welcome. Thank you for joining. We don't worship the Prophet. We follow the Prophet because Allah told us to do so. Prophet died and he was buried. All the prophets died and they were buried. If you go to Al-Aqsa, if you go to Palestine, in Masjid Ibrahim, you will see the graveyards of various prophets. So believing in the Prophet forms an essential part of our belief. But believing in our prophets as human, chosen by Allah to do a job, prophets who are guided by Allah to instruct us, inspire us, and help us. Prophet's job was to show us the truth and struggle with their fellow human beings and eventually pass away, die. That's what we believe as far as we're concerned. All the prophets had to go through normal human experience. They cannot bypass them. And prophets also will be accountable for their actions on the Day of Judgment. Of course, Allah has forgiven the prophets. That's why He's chosen them as their prophets. Prophet Muhammad was forgiven for all his mistakes. Completely. Will not be asked questions about any of his mistakes. But will be accountable. Everybody will be accountable. On the Day of Judgment, nobody will escape accountability. So, Risala. So we talked about Tawheed last week and the week before. This week we're talking about Risala, prophethood. A question for you. When you study all the prophets and the prophets' lives, if you have studied it properly, which of the prophets' lives, don't be emotional about it. I understand you will probably say Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but which of the prophets' lives do you find most intriguing? Use my word, most intriguing. The one that really makes you, I think I have some characteristics like this. Which of the prophet? So if you look at the prophets, you'll find Ibrahim, one of the prophets, who was very, very resilient. If you look at Prophet Ayub, was very patient. If you look at Prophet Musa, was a very angry man. He was very angry. If you look at Isa alayhi salam, on the other hand, Isa alayhi salam was a revolutionary man. Which of the prophets intrigues you most? Which of the prophets intrigues you most? I want to know. Aziz says Yusuf and Musa. Why Yusuf and Musa, Aziz? Yusuf had an amazing character. Prophet Yusuf ﷺ was tested all the way through, from birth, from the day he was little, all the way until he was old. We will talk about Prophet Yusuf one day. Salam. Mary, mother of Jesus, was a unique woman whom Jibreel had spoken to. He had informed her of her miracle, birth to take place, of course. This has always fascinated me. I am not sure if any other woman in history has been spoken to by an angel. Amazing, isn't it? Or any other woman had been given such an honor. Such an honor. Fatima Mangera says, Sulaiman, alayhi salatu wasalam, and Nuh. Oh, it's for your children. Sulaiman and Nuh. Wonderful, mashallah. Lovely Nasreen says, Musa. I find Prophet Musa very intriguing, I tell you. I find Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he had gone through everything. From his childhood, his mother puts him in a basket and lets the current take him to the lion's den in the house of Pharaoh. He faces Pharaoh, lives in his house, knows that he's not part of Pharaoh. He knows that he's going to topple Pharaoh at some stage because he hates what Pharaoh stands for. And then he runs away after getting into some debacle with the locals. He lives in Prophet Shu'aib's house, marries his daughter, and then returns to free his people. Just an amazing story. Which other prophets intrigue you all? I'm wanting to know. Rahila Sultana says, Jazakallahu khairan. This is very informative and beneficial. Thank you. Stay with us. We haven't finished yet. Which other prophets intrigue you most? I find Musa very fascinating. I find something in every prophet, for sure. Fatima Mangera says, Adam alayhi and Hawa is very fascinating. Why? Fatima Mangera, why are they very fascinating? I want to know. Tell me, why are these prophets very fascinating to you? What makes them so fascinating? I have my reasons. What are yours? So today we're talking about prophets, prophethood rather. So Risala, Tawheed is what we talked about last 2 weeks. Today we're talking about Risala. Risala means prophethood. We believe in all the prophets who came in the past, including Adam, Idris, Nuh, Saleh, Hud, Lut, Sulaiman, Zakaria, Dawood, Ilyas, Yahya, Isa, Musa, Muhammad, and the ones that I've not mentioned. We all do. So we believe in all the prophets, number one. We believe in the Prophet bringing books in the past. We believe all the prophets were human. We believe all the prophets were sent to their own people. We believe all the prophets' duty was to remind people of the truth. We believe all the prophets were made of human constitution and they died just like every other human dies. Fatima Mangara says, first people experience being in the heavens, then on this earth. Yes, the only people who have lived to experience both. Heaven first and then this earth. Alfonso finally has spoken. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because of his humble personality and patience, of course, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, and indeed, the best of examples. I did say Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would rate on the top for most of you. I understand that, but I also want to know which other prophets intrigue you most. Which other prophets intrigue you most? Have you ever studied the life of Prophet Dawood? He faced Jalut and Talut and David and Goliath story. You know the story. Of course, he became the king afterward. Dawood became the king. His son Sulaiman, who was not just an ordinary king, he was a just king, and he had dominion over all animals, even the air and the plants. Lovely Nasreen says, also Sulaiman, he can speak with birds, animals. Yes, the story of him and Hudhud having a conversation, really fascinating. And then Bilqis, the Queen of Sheba. Shah Jahan Hussein has just joined and says, Salamu alaikum assalam, Shah Jahan. Welcome to our program. We have joined to the end of our program. We're nearly coming to the end. I normally talk for an hour. It's a lot of time to talk, inshallah. But I'm opening up for questions. If you've got any questions, you can raise them. Any questions, you can raise them. A couple of questions have been raised by people, though they're not related. One was raised by Aziz, I think. Something about somebody getting married. Brother, a side question. If someone at age of marriage wants to run away and get married against parents' wishes and they want help to be witnesses for the nikah, should we agree or refuse? Well, it's a very complex question, Aziz. I can't just say yes or no, because the question is many, many folds. If the parents are unreasonable, in other words, they're forcing this person to get married to somebody, they're preventing this person from getting married to somebody who is good and decent, they are being unreasonable by denying them the right to get married at all. Under such circumstances, we as people, human beings, it's Allah's given right that we should get married. Nobody has the right to force us to be married to somebody we don't want to be married to. Allah hasn't given our parents the right to prevent us from getting married to somebody who is decent. Nor does Allah give our parents the right to get our parents to stop us from ever getting married. That's not correct. So if a parent was to behave like this, then you have every right to tell your parents, really sorry, mommy and daddy, I'm going and getting married with or without your permission because you're being unreasonable. Remember this, unreasonable. But you need to find the reasons why they're saying no. Do everything possible to keep them on your side. And parents, don't say no to your children, especially if they bring good proposals to them, to your houses. If the boy or the girl is good, has good character, is not a liar, is not a drug dealer, is not a criminal, doesn't have a bad track record, comes from a good family, say yes. Don't say no on the basis of nationality, color, and language and culture. No, that's nonsense. As long as they're Muslim and they're good character, then you should say yes. So if the parents have been unreasonable, and I'm really talking about being very unreasonable, under such circumstances, that boy or the girl should seek advice from their local imam, somebody respectable from their community, and seek their help and support. And it is after exhausting everything, if they're still struggling and they want to get married, then it becomes a collective obligation on the community to help them to get married. It is not allowed for us to force our children from getting married. Not allowed. It is not allowed for us to force them to marry somebody of our choice, and it is not allowed for us to force them and prevent them from getting married. Both not allowed. Parents, be wary. A woman came to Rasulullah and said, Ya Rasulullah, my parents have forced me to get married. What do you say to that? Prophet ﷺ said, if you're not happy with this marriage, then I will annul your marriage, because forced marriage is null and void. So by that token, if your parents are being forceful and unreasonable, then they need to realize that they have already lost their right. Anyway, let's go to the next question. Dawood, Isa is my son's name. Dawood and Isa, mashallah, because these prophets amaze us too. Intizar Ali says, as well as the prophets, I find Khidr interesting. Yes, we'll talk about Khidr at some stage, inshallah. Alfonso says, what are the benefits of fasting? 12, 13, 14, and 15 of every month. Inshallah, another time we'll talk about fasting. How many prophets were there? Is it true that not all mentioned in the Quran? Yes, it is true, Rahila. We don't know how many prophets Allah sent on this earth. It could be millions, we have no idea. It could be hundreds of thousands, we have no idea. Allah has mentioned 25 prophets in the Quran. 25. Who knows the name of the 25 prophets? We should do a test. Who knows? No Google searches. Tell me from your memory if you know the names of the 25 prophets. Alfonso, to answer your question, it is the sunnah of Rasulullah that he is to fast Mondays and Thursdays every week, and the middle of the month every month. That's it. It is good to fast. It is spiritually beneficial, physically beneficial. It brings you closer to Allah. So if you can fast every Mondays and Thursdays, you automatically do the 5-2 diet. 5 days you eat and 2 days you don't. Prophet ﷺ used to do this, by the way. It's the sunnah of the Prophet. Mondays and Thursdays to fast out of the 7 days of the week, and remaining 5 days not to fast but eat moderately and healthily. Lovely Nasreen says, I know a few. Go on, give it a try. See how many you can put them all out. See if somebody can miss and notice how many you have mentioned, inshallah. Any other questions about Tawheed that we've discussed last week and the week before? Any other questions about Risala that we're discussing today? If you have got any questions, I'm going to be very happy. I'll be very happy to answer them, inshallah. Any questions on any other topic too? It's no problem. We can all ask questions and we can all learn together. It's about learning together. Today I had some problems in sharing my screen. I don't know what happened. I'm going to fix that, inshallah, for next week, so I can give you the Quranic references of the verses that I've talked about, inshallah. Forgive me for not being able to give you the references. I just couldn't share the screens properly for whatever reason. If I can, inshallah, I will try my best to do it for you, inshallah, next time. Any other questions from anybody before we call it a day? We're talking about prophets. Which prophets intrigue you? And see if you can name me all 25 prophets that appear in the Quran. POP says, can a wife ask for khula, divorce, fearing to sin for being disobedient of her husband? Can a wife ask for khula? Of course, fearing to sin for being disobedient to her husband. Well, you can ask for khula for anything, really. There is no reason why you can't ask for khula. In Islamic law, you can ask for khula even for such fact that you don't like your husband anymore. I have cases where husbands, they were snoring, and lady said, really sorry, I can't do this anymore. I can't cope. And she asked for khula. So a lady has a right to ask for divorce if the marriage is not fulfilling her. So for disobedience or not, that's really moot here. Alfonso says, is it true if you fast on 13, 14, and 15, it is like you fasting for the whole month? Allah knows the best. I don't know the answer to that question. What is khula? Khula is when a sister asks for divorce. When a wife asks for divorce, it is khula. And when a husband gives a divorce, he says talaq. Takveem Khalid says, Adam, Moses, Jesus, Lut, Ibrahim, Sulaiman, Yusuf, David, Dawood, who's Cain, Abel, Noah, and Aaron. Well, give me the Arabic names. Let's see if we can do them. Adam, Idris. I'm giving you already two. Adam, Idris. What other names can you tell me are the names of the 25 prophets in Islam? 25 prophets of Islam, if you can tell me, um, I'll be impressed, inshallah. Who can give me all 25 names? Anybody out there? Just as a test of your knowledge, who can give me the names of all 25 prophets? Anybody out there? Of course, you are more than welcome to write it out. If you can't, then inshallah, I'm sure somebody will be able to write it out. So Adam was the first prophet. Okay, who's the second one? Let's do it like this. Adam was the first prophet. Who was the second one? Yusuf, some more questions. MashaAllah. Okay, sorry, I didn't even see them. Wow, so many has come. Somebody says Muhammad, Ibrahim, Sulaiman, Dawood, Isa, Lut, Nuh, Adam, Yunus, Ismail, Yaqub, Yahya, Salih, Imran, Yasir, Ilyas, Musa, Ayyub, Zakaria, Ishaq, Idris, Shu'aib, Hud. In any order, that would be good. Adam, Idris, Nuh, Hud, Salih, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, Lut, Ayyub, Yusuf, Dhul Kifl, and then Yunus, Musa, his kill. No, some names absolutely I don't recognize. Dawood, Sulaiman, Shia. No, that's not a prophet. Some of that is not correct, my dear sister, lovely Nasreen. Assalamu alaikum, brother. It's very nice to see your lecture all the time and encourage us very much. What is the best way to let our children know about Mi'raj of the Prophet ﷺ, the story? Well, you can stay tuned with us, inshallah, and we will study Mi'raj at some stage when we study the life of the Prophet. So for those of you who are thinking, the first prophet was Adam, then it's Idris, then Nuh, then it's Hud, then it's Salih, then Ibrahim, then it's Lut, then it's Ismail, then Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, Shu'aib, then Harun, Ayyub, Dhul Kifl, Musa, Dawood, Sulaiman, Ilyas, Al-Yas'a, Yunus, Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Those are the names of the 25 prophets that you find in the Quran. It does not mean there are no other prophets before or after. Sorry, there are no other prophets in between. We have no idea how many prophets Allah sent. Allah must have sent hundreds of thousands. In fact, He says in the Quran, and we have sent a messenger to every people. Every people. We have sent a messenger to every people. For those of you who are wanting to learn the names of all the prophets, it's not that difficult. You can find them, of course. Google them, you'll find them now. So, brothers and sisters, are there any other questions you have? If you have, inshallah, we'll try and answer them. Otherwise, we will slowly wind down. I don't have to go until 8:30 if there are no other questions. 1 hour is enough to learn. Enough. We've learned enough about the prophets today. And I'm hoping that you will join me every week. It's a systematic learning, topic by topic. Each topic we discuss, you should learn and should remember, and you should try and teach your children and even get them to sit together to learn with you, because this will be very important for them. We've done Tawheed. We've discussed about the nature of Allah over the last 2 Sundays. If you have missed it, you can go and find these on my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel, and you can listen to it again and you can engage, inshallah. Today we have talked about Risala. We've talked about Risala. Fatima Mangara says, we love your shows. Thank you very much, Fatima. Allah bless you. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. So we talked about Risala today. We'll be talking about Risala next week as well, but we'll be talking about the books Allah sent. We'll also be talking about the angels, very important. And of course, then we'll go to Akhirah, and then we'll talk about destiny at some stage. So we'll do slowly but surely each topic encompassing the basic beliefs first, because the basic beliefs must be strong and solid. And then we build on it. We start talking about character building. We talked about personality building, lives of the prophets, etc., etc. Lovely Nasreen, some books have more than 25 prophets' name. Is that okay? No, because we don't have the names of more than 25. We only know from authentic sources 25 names. For those of you who don't know the 25 names, I'll give you the names again. Please listen to it and note it down if you want. First prophet is Adam. Idris is the second. Third is Nuh, then Hud, then Saleh, then Ibrahim, then Lut, then Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub. Then we have Yusuf, Shu'aib, Harun, Ayub, Dhul Kifl. We have Musa, Dhul Kifl, sorry. We have Dawood, we have Sulaiman, we have Ilyas, we have Al-Yas'a, we have Yunus, we have Zakaria, we have Yahya, we have Isa, and we have Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Those are the prophets. Thank you very much. Is there any books about the stories of the prophets that you going to recommend for the kids? I will recommend you the prophets, the stories of the prophets. Where is it gone? Actually, my children are reading it somehow. I will, inshallah, try and recommend it next week. It's called the stories of the prophets for children. Inshallah, you can read that. There is a song and that has the names in order, starting from Prophet Adam, of course. Thank you. Lovely. For today, inshallah, I'm going to say goodbye to you all. May Allah bless you. May Allah increase us in our knowledge, in our understanding, and make us better people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.